Mia, throw it away and come on in. Mia,
I heard you.
come on. Watch it, General.
I haven't ate anything all day long.
Well, who's
I'm
fault?
right here.
Hey, close the door. Let's go. Okay, looks like we got everybody. All right, okay. On Friday, okay. All right. Put your computers and phones away. Put your computers and phones away. All right, okay. Now, what I showed you on Friday was just the first of the charges against former President Donald Trump. Now, uh, that being said, there are multiple ones. Now, let's just see what you guys know. What charges is the former president facing? And I'm not, this is not what, I'm not just talking in legal steps, what he's been charged with.
Like fraud, like advertising.
That's the ones the second counts now. That's part of what you saw. That was the first thing they charged with. And just so you know, you can be charged for crimes on different levels. Now, let's say Max, he's the big businessman here. Max gets, he's still the manager of the okay, up at Afton Pizza, he fronts a lot of money, and he ends up saying spending all the rest of it. He ends up taking that money. That's fraud. Now, he can be charged at the very level, but if, let's say, he's managing a store here and across in Illinois, that then makes it a federal crime. Does that make sense? Okay, so the fraud charges are all New York charges because the Trump industry operated out of New York. Does that make sense? Now, they only investigated stuff that happened in New York. Now, he has businesses all over the world. He has resorts in, like, I know, Florida, that's what he's doing now, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, and like small circles like those places. So, um, now one of the things he does, and I will tell you that this is something that rich people do all the time. They undervalue overvalue things because it gets a tax breaks. Does that make sense? Or you not understand?
Oh, no.
Yes, sir. All right. Um, they'll say something, if they're trying to keep their taxes low, they will say that it's not worth near as much. But then when they need to go get a loan from the bank, they'll say, oh, it's 50%. Now, the thing in question here, and government agencies will do this, the differences on what the Trump organization submitted were like billions of dollars. So that's okay. That's the first thing. And also, the business records were falsified because in the stormy days that I really want to stay away from, uh, apparently, you don't know what that is? Okay. Uh, he had a relationship with an adult movie figure, we'll call her.
Right.
Uh, and she was paid off and signed a non-disclosure act that basically, if you ever hear the term NDA, you can't talk about it to anybody by punishment of the court. Basically, you're agreeing that, okay, we paid you off. Like, technically, the way they went about it, because they covered up the money, is a thing. Now, anybody understand any other charges that he's facing?
Isn't he like what's it, like keeping possession and like materials he should?
Okay, there's some documents case, basically, and I do need a lot of former presidents and vice presidents have been told that they have documents. One of the things that people do when they leave office is they create library services. And President Biden, they found that he had some stuff when he was still vice president with President Obama. Vice President Pence, they both found out that they had stuff too. They immediately turned it back over. The difference in the Trump case and the other cases, because again, Biden, Obama, Pence, George W. Bush, all because they carry the stuff around. It would make sense that some things are going to get lost in the stuff. When everybody was told that they had this stuff, they were immediately, oh my gosh, here you go. Right? The difference in the Trump thing was that the stuff that he had was highly sensitive stuff. One of which, and this is hearsay because we don't have, because they're not letting a lot of the information in this case out because of the sensitivity. Like attack plans for Iran, attack plans for like North Korea, where people hide their reactors, where people hide their missiles, stuff like that. And the reason why this was such a big thing is spies have put reports out, and if spies have put reports out, that makes them targets if the other countries find out about it. Does that make sense? And the whole thing was that former President Trump said that he did not have them, and yet they have them on tape talking about people, and he actually showed a reporter that he had them.
It's not very smart, is it?
Yeah. The reporter was smart enough not to look at it. Okay. Anybody know the other charges? There's basically four layers of case.
That's okay. That's what I have to look at.
Because that would be classified information, which is a now. I will tell you one thing, and I'm not being political when I say this. If anybody else would have done this, other than a former president, they'd already be in jail. Matter of fact, they probably wouldn't have gotten to trial because if you deal with severely classified stuff like this, you kind of disappear. You're going to be in a maximum facility that's buried in the side of a mountain that nobody knows about, and you'll be there forever and ever and ever. Yes.
Are sexual assault cases being charged or
Okay. Okay. That had already been litigated, and I don't know why the state of New York has a statute of limitations on rape that they do. That is one thing I'm very proud of the state of Missouri. If you are raped, there is no statute of limitation. If a young woman gets assaulted in her teens and she decides in her 60s that she wants to prosecute, if there's still enough evidence, you can go for it. There's a 15-year statute of limitations. I could
So
be-
they're saying it as long as there's a charge.
And that's why it wasn't actually a criminal charge, it was a civil suit. She charged him with sexual assault. And he was basically what the judge said in that case, and what the jury came back with, and they said, had this been in a criminal court, it would have been charged as rape. And you say that because it is a civil court. It was beyond. Now, where he's in trouble now, because that was already done. He came back out and was talking about the victim again, and basically she's suing him again, and he's probably gonna lose because I mean he literally did it. What he said went out to all of the. It's gonna basically, if I was the prosecution, like he's basically just put the videotape in and push play.
So he talked about doing it?
No, it was a sexual assault and then harassment. The woman said the only reason she brought it up is because he had been harassing her. Okay. Okay. One more.
Does that count as one of the four?
Sorry, one, no, I'm sorry, two more. That doesn't count as one.
That's-
Because that's a civil action.
Is it the January 6th stuff?
January 6th, and that's at the federal level.
Isn't it-
Now, this one is important because in the 14th Amendment, it says if anyone leads insurrection against the country, they are invalid for election. You can't hold it in your office. But I don't think that one's going to be proven, going to be adjudicated before the election. I don't care. Oh wow, it actually did something about amendments. It's pretty impressive.
At least she was paying attention.
Usually she gives me stuff on NCAA football scores when I don't want them anymore. Because Georgia lost and freaking Alabama made that. That's not really about that. That's all enough.
Okay, then.
They only got in because they go from 8 to number 4. Doesn't make sense.
So wait, I never really understood. Like, was he like the one that organized the attack, or like they? Was it, like,
Okay, one of the things, no matter what you will say about Donald Trump, if he is, I'm not going to say he is or isn't, but if he did, smart enough never to put his name on paper. Does that make sense?
so is that
And
like
okay, and this, I'm going to veer off tonight here for a second. When you do construction business in New York, you're going to deal with mafia types because they run a lot of the organized labor there. And if you learn not to put things on paper, I think that would carry over. There were Trump had some really shady business partners, but I would tell you, in his defense, to do construction in New York, you have to work with shady business people. Does that make sense? So, who is the shady person to do that?
but okay, so it was like, so they people like they raided the Capitol because Trump had lost the election. Is that why they did it? Or
Well, there's some people who, on that note, there are some people who are suing the president for, they're trying to prove that he knew that he lost and still was going out and telling people that he won. And that's why those people win. So does that make sense? There are civil suits like some of the Capitol police officers are suing him for that. I know the family of the one guy killed, the one police officer that was killed that day. His family is. So there's that. But that's a wrongful death thing. So, but basically, they're not really letting out what is what because what they found in some of these other cases is that once people, their names, witnesses come out, they like in the, well, I can't say it, but that's the one thing that you guys haven't got. Oh, I'll go ahead and say it. It deals exactly with that. With Georgia, uh, basically when Trump called, a bunch of people called trying to get the Secretary of State of Georgia to flip the election back to Trump. That's the other case. And there's a lot of that that comes from the other ones. Does that make sense? Those two are very intermittent. And it's very difficult because one's at the state level and one's at the federal level. And those witnesses, like the election workers, the ones that came up there to testify that everything was cool, they started getting these really harassing phone calls. People were like trying to break down their door. It was, let me just say this, the loonies come out on both sides for extreme crazies. So, yeah. Okay.
It just gives like, it just seems like he has his followers, some of them so brainwashed that he could like tell them to do anything and they will listen. Like that's the problem.
Oh, I will tell you this. When President Obama was president, I get fearful. I get fearful when people follow a person, not ideas. Does that make sense?
Right.
When I started seeing all these pictures of President Obama when he was president, it kind of scared me because, and I know he was a historic figure because he was the first African American president. I completely understand that, and I thought it was great for our nation. But when it's like this guy because why? Or when people would say they didn't like him, and I'd say why, and they can't give you an answer, that scares me. When Trump became president, it was the same thing. If you sat there and do you guys ever watch the show Jordan Klepper? Guys, so you go to YouTube. It's a rather it's Jordan Klepper. I can't show you stuff because the language is just horrendous. But basically, he goes out and interviews people and basically everybody looks stupid. He does this to every political party. So, but he went to a Trump rally and said, "How do you feel about this?" And they would say, "Oh yeah, yeah." And so, well, that's not the candidate said. They completely would flip based on because they're for him. Yeah, does that make sense? So I do understand. Politics is becoming cultic and it's very scary.
Are they gonna allow Trump to run again?
Well, Colorado was trying to get him off of the ballot based on they're trying to do a state level challenge to the 14th Amendment, and I don't know where that one is. I know that it's in trial right now. See, here's the thing: if each state decides that because of January 6th he's ineligible, then he can receive votes.
It's just like, how can you sit there and you're voting for someone who has sexually assaulted, harassed someone. You're voting for someone who has multiple criminal lawsuits. Like voting for this person who can get for economics and all of that is great.
On that, I'll say, don't say that because Bill Clinton, who was a very hot popular president, had all kinds of sexual stuff, and he won re-election.
See, that's crazy.
In a landslide.
How could you vote for
Okay.
someone like that? Like someone who has all of those, like how can you vote for someone who doesn't respect women and women is half of our population?
Oh, women are more than half the population. Anybody want to know why? It's a pretty easy solution. You have to figure it out. Form. Okay, the people who were in their 90s, they were in World War II. People in their 80s were in Korea. People in their 70s were in Vietnam. And yes, women did die in combat, but not at the percentage that men did because women Until recently, we're not allowed to be in front. Does that make sense? So our population, I believe, is like 85% women. I mean, which I don't understand just from a mathematical statistical point. If you're a candidate, you want to win. If you make women happy, you'll win every election. I think there's one state that's more men than women. Every other state, 49, is going with men.
What I was saying is, why should he be allowed to vote again? Because, like, he's not even just
Okay.
a one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ask all day long.
Yes,
Because
yes.
if you don't remember what I told you last time down, in our country, when we were under the British Empire, they could literally throw you in jail because they said, Zoe, I don't like your shoes, you're going to jail. They could literally throw you in jail. They didn't have to have any reason, you didn't get to go to the judge. So our country says, basically, we are presuming you are innocent until proven guilty. So that's why when it's the news, when Max gets, trouble for embezzling money from the pizza place, they have to say the alleged, because if they don't, he can sue them because are they taking the jury against him? Yes. They always say the alleged. You can't say convict or criminal.
Or
Once they're found guilty, you can say whatever you want. But you have rights. And now, here's the thing. Max it may blow up and be this big TV thing, and he could get very little charges, but if he's found guilty, he can sue all the news media and basically bury him. He's going to be a rich man once he gets out. Don't steal Max. So
didn't he like?
now, but here's the thing that has changed in our society. Social media has changed all that because it's social media covered by the First Amendment,
Yeah.
but it's not covered the same way that newspapers and TV are, which I think is a fallacy. I think that because there's so much crap on social media, I mean, no offense, 99% of everything on social media is BS. I mean, the wipeout videos are my favorite part. Other than that, I really don't have much use for social media. Except seeing my friends get pictures. I mean, I haven't seen that, but then again, there's crap. I got one for the sisters and told me how his kid, leading the NFL and stuff like that. He was on the team, so I said, "Where am I?" Yeah, that's your kid. No, he's not. he's like the last kid on the best year. But and that to me has more to do with the problems we're having now. I personally think, and this is my opinion, sorry, I should have said it before, social media has screwed up more than it has helped. It's not worth the little fun people wipe it out. Although I did see a good one. Some guy was getting ready to jump off something, they're going to do like a rope swing thing. And,
Snap?
yeah, they did like flip down. It was only like 20 feet, but they held it from time. It was awesome. I always love watching people hurt themselves doing the stupid things that I would do. So.
Okay, I like watching children.
Oh, there's a TikTok channel just called Wipeouts. Yeah. All right, but hey, okay. Any thoughts? I'm not gonna make you write about this one because you're gonna be writing all next week. Oh no, this is your final exam. You got this week, and then next week, basically, you start preparing for your final.
Next week.
You got 2 weeks of school, and then 5.
Oh, 2 weeks.
So here, look up here real quick. Let me re-explain this. I understand. Somebody wake him from the dead.
Jackson.
Look up here. Is he drooling?
You want to
Okay. Look up here, Stardust, look up here. All right, now, on your final, there are 3 questions, but it basically makes up one essay. Here's the way it's going to work. Question 1 is the first paragraph. Question 2 is the second paragraph. Question 3 is the third paragraph. So basically, what I'm going to tell you to do again next week is on Monday when I give this to you. Because Monday I'm going to give you a question, Tuesday I'm going to give you a question, Thursday I'm going to give you a question. Then on Friday and Monday, what you're going to do is you're going to create an introduction and then a conclusion, and you're going to tie the 3 paragraphs together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What? Okay. You don't have to. If you want to sit here and sleep, I'm not going to stop you. But I'm telling you what I expect. And this is 20% of your grade. Now, some of you have such a high A, it may drop you down to a B if you don't. I mean, if you just totally blew off the final. But here's the thing. For seniors who are trying to college, if you want that GPA, looking really good, this is what you want. Basically, if you just do what I said next week in class, keep it on a Google Doc the day of your final. All you have to do is copy and paste it into the box and hit submit. And then you can spend the time studying for your other finals. Or, well, yeah. And I will look at me and understand what I. Let me do something first.